self-confidence is a big deal. Uh, Believing in yourself is huge. When you step forward with the intention of great things happen. And you never know when you are going to create a spark that brings
Mhm.
incredible people together to have incredible dialogue and create a family that never would have existed without a spark.
Hmm.
So don't be afraid to do stuff like that.
I got chills.
Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, AlliE, and we are back at it again for another episode of Living Life Consciously. Today, we have some very special guests lined up for you, and I am stoked to get started. So without further ado, Justin, say hey.
Hey there, Cosmic Thrill Seekers. This is Justin, and this is Living Life Consciously, where we explore the extraordinary, ride the waves of inspiration, and embark on an adventure of limitless curiosity together.
I'm your co-host, Leslie, also known as Light Being Love, an eternal spiritual being having a temporary human experience, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks,
Sam or Lisa.
Just a quick hello.
Hi, I'm Lisa Fry of My Mystical Life and really excited for the opportunity to sit and chat with everybody. It sounds like we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Of
Lisa.
course.
And I'm Sam, or you can call me Mr. Lisa for that matter. So there you go.
Perfect.
All right, and for our audience that may not be familiar with Sam or Lisa, are you seeking guidance, healing, or a deeper spiritual connection? Look no further if you are. Join us for an enlightening conversation with Sam and Lisa Fry, a multi-talented husband and wife duo who dabble in the mysticism and are co-founders of My Mystical Life. Lisa is a psychic intuitive, shaman, trance medium, Reiki Master, ordained minister, certified hypnotherapist, and teacher of psychic development. Sam is a psychic medium, Reiki Master, Trance Medium Healer, and a Deeksha Blessing Giver. Lisa and her husband Sam have dedicated over 15 years to offering psychic readings and healings, helping others discover and use their intuitive gifts. They believe that everyone is psychic. Lisa's journey into the spiritual world began by accident or perhaps divine timing. After a paranormal investigation, she realized her knack for picking up energy and embarked on a serious intuitive journey. Her experience revealed one fundamental truth: we are all intuitive. Join us to discover how Lisa and Sam's journey can inspire and elevate your own intuitive path. Learn, grow, and awaken your inner psychic abilities with us on Living Life Consciously. Sam and Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today. I am very excited for our conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Did you guys have anywhere specific you'd like to begin, or shall we start with a question?
Your show, we're here for your grace. So
All right.
there you go.
All
So-
right.
First choice.
All right, Lisa, let's start with you. Can you tell us about the moment you realized that you had psychic abilities?
Oh, actually, I can. Because honestly, when I first started doing this, it was our youngest wanted to do paranormal investigation. It's ghost hunt. This tells you something. Ghost Hunters just came out.
Oh.
So wow. So for Christmas, he got all this paranormal investigation equipment, and it was kind of, we treated it like a parlor trick. I knew where to put the camera. And he's very intuitive as well, but he's not practicing anything. But he and I would go out to battlefields and just put equipment down. And we got, I think our second one out, we got a full body apparition, which
Wow.
was amazing. But then it just, it snowballed after a while. We did work with a couple different paranormal teams, and it was just really cool. Is really what it was. I didn't understand what it was. And I did this for a friend down in Florida, and she was like, this guy, I just feel like there's this person in my bathroom. And it was the first time I had a clairvoyant experience where I saw this person.
Okay.
And I had driven to Florida, and the whole ride back, he was with me in the car.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And he was touching my arm. He jumped on the edge of my bed at the hotel in the middle of the night. And then when I got home, he disappeared. So I'm like, here's me. I'm like so naive. And I'm like, yay, he's gone. Right. Little did I know
Here
that,
comes where I got involved.
Okay.
little did I know that he had actually attached to my husband.
Oh.
Because because he's not the only person I saw in the house that day. I also saw his girlfriend that he'd almost beat to death in a corner.
Oh, wow.
As a
Okay.
spirit. And so what we've come up with is he just felt the need to be attached to somebody that saw him and was trying to eliminate Sam out of the equation. But we're better than that. So, and this is where my aha moment came in. I know it's a story that leads up to it, but I was at a paranormal investigation conference, and I was standing there, I was walking around, and this intuitive walked up to me and she goes, I have to stop and talk to you. And here's me, because I honestly did not believe in intuitives. I didn't believe in psychics really. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And she goes, this was just silly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can detect where the ghosts are, but you don't believe in psychics. So, so silly. So she described this guy all the way down to the tan khaki corduroy pants that I saw him in.
Oh, wow.
Scared the living life out of me. And then I decided that I was going to be a control freak and go learn Reiki so I could master that energy.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way.
I was going to say, how did that work out?
It didn't go well.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my aha moment where I had somebody else come to me and say, hey, this was legit. This was a real thing. And I see it too. And I went, oh, maybe I
Okay.
need to start looking into this and really
So,
figure it out.
what happened with the entity or whatever that was attached is like you did something to, I suppose, get rid of it.
Did. So I saged the house and he really wasn't that difficult.
Okay.
But at the time I didn't know, because I also work as a shaman. I didn't know how to help him transition over.
How did you know he attached to Sam?
The intuitive told me.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
intuitive
I'm
told me.
trying to keep up with
Yeah,
this.
and I was like, oh, he's been a real jerk the last month,
Mm,
and
Oh.
it had been something I had been noticing.
okay.
So it was kind of like backed up that with that validation. And as soon as we flushed him, Sam became his lovable self again. So
Aw. Sam, what was your experience of this whole story like? Like, what was your perspective?
Well, so at the time, I, of course, again, was very skeptical of the whole life system.
Oh, you were skeptical as well. Okay.
Absolutely. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Wow.
Okay.
So, when we're young, we're kind of naive to this, to the world. So we see and perceive things so much differently as children, especially the younger, the more you perceive.
Yes.
Mhm.
And as we grow up, that is more or less taught out of us, whether it's to be acceptable in society or school or church or whatever the case may be. It's more or less taught out of us.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when said entity decided to attach to me, I had no idea what was going on. To me, it was just, the stress of life. And, I didn't realize that I was nasty, and I was never abusive as far as physically abusive. I may have said things that were hurtful and stuff like that. Again, this is, I don't realize this is happening, but she did. And she never told me until after Knucklehead was gone, what actually had transpired. And then after a few days, I did kind of notice that I was a lot more at ease and, relaxed. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe there is something to this woo-woo stuff,
Right.
and
I love how personal experience really makes people go, oh shit, there's more to this than just the talking,
Yeah, me too.
Exactly. And, growing up, there was always instances kind of having some precog that I would say, I haven't heard from this person in months or weeks, or I haven't seen this program in years. And all of a sudden,
it'll just pop
there
up.
it is. Now, I don't know now because I know more than I did back then, obviously. And just that much do I know, that now I question whether it was precog or whether it manifested.
Oh, trying to figure out which angle to come at
I
it
have
from.
that
Right?
same question. I often wonder that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Precog, you kind of feel like it's a dream. I think is more how you would perceive it as a precognitive event. Whereas if you manifest it, you think about it before it
Yeah.
actually happens.
That real
So,
emotion into it
Yeah, exactly.
and put that emotion into it.
yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So you put your connection to it, and therefore you can bring it about. We have learned so much about manifestation, and that kind of also kicked our whole existence into another level several years later. But
Okay.
anyways, so that was my very first experience with it. She
Okay.
brought something home, and it got on me. So, like the kids bringing home the flu from school.
Yeah.
Right. That's funny.
It's so crazy how you
But
guys.
she got rid of it. So.
Yes, yeah. It's how they
Yeah.
went from skeptics to having an experience, like something is happening
Yep.
with them, to believers, and now you guys are both practitioners. You're both psychic mediums,
Amazing.
offering readings, doing
Yeah.
healing. So bring us through that end of it. So now you had the experience. How do you go from having
Yeah.
that experience to the
Yeah.
rest of your story?
Yeah, how did you get started in speaking engagements and
Lisa, I'll let you take the reins on that one because
Okay.
I'm a
you
hand.
drove
No.
the bus for both of us on that.
He's like, I was a passenger.
Sort of.
Okay.
It was because when we were first starting, it was there wasn't a lot of teachers around. So when we were starting up, we didn't have a lot of teachers. We actually worked a lot with each other. I don't think this would have been the life Sam would have said, let's do it. But things like I was saying, and one of my very first spirit guides was my father-in-law.
Mm.
And him and
Oh.
I did not get along that I was aware of. I just got corrected. I was not aware of a bunch of guides around me. And when Jim popped in, him and I would like be joking about Sam, and because he loves Sam to pieces. And I was laying in bed one night, and I think this is really kind of when Sam went, "Oh crap!" And I was I didn't know I was chuckling out loud. I chuckled, and Jim was showing me a picture of Sam in his like really dorky middle school, picture,
Wow.
school picture,
That's nice.
and he had on plaid. He had on this plaid colored shirt, and I was laughing internally. And Sam leans over and he goes,
Wait a minute. No. They were laughing internally at me.
Oh, at you though.
Okay.
and Sam leans over and he
He was
goes,
very clear to tell me that after this whole thing went down. Go
he
ahead.
goes, what's with the plaid? I was like, holy crap. So, when we talked a lot. So when we started to step out beyond and get past the jitters, because you do have jitters, am I real? The imposter syndrome, all of those things, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
Started to find that my guides were pushing me a little bit more towards public speaking, and I fought them kicking and screaming. I mean, really, some big aha moments there. 2x4 therapy is what we call it. And what I ended up doing was going live against I didn't want to, but I was because they told me I needed to. And we found a community, and like-minded people started coming together, and we started to gather. And what we found was we wanted to learn together in a teaching environment and teach each other things. And that's really what the community is. We teach each other. So it's not just us, teaching. But that's what I figured we needed to do. That's what our guides were like, let's all come together and learn off of each other, not necessarily one person. And that's how you get your best information, because this should be your spiritual journey. And that's what we kind of say is, this is yours. Nobody can tell you how to do this.
Right.
Because if somebody tells you exactly how to do your journey, run.
Right,
Hear
right.
that sound? Run.
Yep.
Yep.
But it's just we've never gone out and we've never talked about it. Really, and we just hit our 5-year anniversary with the group of people, and
And this is my mystical life, right?
this is my mystical life.
Okay.
Yeah, it just has grown from that. It's grown from what my guide, because that's what my guide said, call it my mystical life. I'm like, what do I call something like that? Like, your mystical life, call it my mystical life. And we just kind of have grown from there. And
Awesome.
so it's one person learning off of another, and what we found was a family.
I love
That's
that.
great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I will
Mhm.
agree. Every day. I tell them all we tell them all the time.
All right. Lisa or Sam, what is a common misconception about psychic readings, and how do you guys normally address it?
Well, I'll just circle back to, when we were younger, it was taught out of us. Okay. So
Okay.
in our, and I can kind of speak for Lisa, but not 100%. In
Okay.
our minds, early on in this, it just felt fake. Like, yeah, you're a psychic, whatever, blah, 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 whatever,
Mhm.
And, but again, the more we have gone down the rabbit hole in our own paths, now we do a lot of things together, but we also do not do the same things the same way. So
Oh,
her
okay.
path is different than mine. Her path is different than mine. Mine is different than hers.
Sure.
And this is one thing that we try to tell our members and anybody that we chat with about this. When somebody puts together a program, not everything in that program is going to work for you, or it's not going to work for me. It may
Yeah.
work great for the individual, but it's
Right.
not going to work the same for everybody.
Right.
So as people that are always learning, we take bits and pieces of things and put the puzzle together in our own path, in our own puzzle. We build our own road. We take our own tools and put them in our toolbox from learning from other people. And that is one of the big great things about our community.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yep.
we teach classes, but we have a lot of other people that teach classes as well, and we learn from one another. We looked for things like this, before we started the group. There were, as far as we knew, there was nothing out there, and it was amazing to see the community grow so fast. Lisa was doing a lot of readings, not live readings, but she was doing readings where she would send them, emails and whatnot. That's how she corresponded, which is when her life changed when we lived out in Montana. Archangel Metatron, excuse me. Well, I can already hear me in the back of the
Transformers. I love Transformers.
He 2x4'd her and told her, no, you're gonna go live. You're gonna do these live.
Okay.
And over time, I kind of got rid of my stage fright because don't get me wrong, I still get nervous about doing things out there. It's just
Oh, sure.
my brain.
Yeah.
It's all of our own brains have our own little idiosyncrasies,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
so she dragged me along on a lot of this and kicking and screaming in some cases. But
Most cases.
but if it wasn't for her courage to step out into the world and out of our boxes, if you will, this, our world of our boxes, none of this would have transpired, because I wouldn't have stepped out of my muggle life to do it. And so I have to give her 99.9% of the credit for all of this. I'm just along for the ride, sort of.
I think one of the major misconceptions that we have, that we've encountered, is that everybody does it the same.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's right there with him talking about everybody's, not cookie cutter. A lot of people
Yeah.
think, well, even my father, before he passed away, he thought that I knew everything in his brain. I'm like, are you kidding me? First of all, I don't want to.
Right?
And but we don't, psychics don't know all that stuff. You maybe there's a whole host of clairs you can have.
Yep.
Nothing says you have them all. And even when you have them, doesn't mean you do it like somebody else. And I would also add to this that a lot of people, one of the major misconceptions is that, oh gosh, this, I must be working from my imagination. A lot of people think this must be my imagination. Well, goodness, I hope so. Because that is the most amazing thing, the most amazing tool you have. and you have to have some place to fish from. People think that they can't reside in the same place. Well, they're the same. You know.
Yeah.
When we imagine things, we're manifesting those things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, you're putting the thought out there, you're putting the words out there, you're putting the energy out there. You're writing it into the fabric of the universe. Now, you also have to be careful that you don't put the wrong things accidentally. And that is one of the big things that we try to pound into people about manifesting.
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's so synchronistic that you brought up manifesting, because Justin's birthday just recently passed, and I got him this shirt that he's wearing now that says, what you think you create, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you become.
Absolutely. It's true.
And I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything.
Go ahead.
But I kind of sort of manifested this house that we're in. I manifested a washer dryer.
He's an amazing
I manifested
manifester,
our couch,
honestly.
our bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like I would say, oh, hey, yeah, we need a washer and dryer. And then like a week later, my boss is like, hey, I'm getting rid of my old washer and dryer. You want it? I'm like, yeah. And then like, yeah, I said, I was like, well, now we need a couch, and literally like 2 weeks later, somebody else, came up to me and they're like, hey dude, I'm getting rid of my couch, I'm gonna go get a new one, you want my old one?
It's not just like he said it once, like we were discussing it, we were like, okay, when he said we need a new couch, I'm like, okay, so let's manifest it, let's talk about it. Like how are we gonna feel sitting on that new couch? Like where are the dogs gonna be? Where are we gonna be? Like you really got to put that emotional, like place yourself there and feel the feelings of that situation so you can bring it to you.
And it has happened over and over again.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That is absolutely awesome. Visualize and attack.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Leslie, did you want to ask a question this time?
You emphasize that everyone is psychic. How can someone start to tap into their own intuitive abilities?
Oh, great question.
It is a great question. We hear it a lot.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear it a lot. The first thing I suggest is finding you. We spend so much time on the computer, on the phone, on all the things, right? A lot of us have lost track of who we actually are. So that's what the basis of meditation is. I tell people, I don't meditate every day. I will we throw ourselves under the bus all the time. I like, meditate. Don't do that very often. My guides tell me to, but that's not really true, because we are meditating throughout the course of our day, every single day. So it's just little theta brain waves. That's meditation, the mommy brain, all these other things. So I suggest, with the intention of communication with your guides, sit there quietly. Because people get scared of the word meditation.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like, oh, and this is right up there with cookie cutter. People think they have to be cookie cutter. If you don't meditate the exact same way that looks like everybody else does, they feel like they're just going to disengage because they failed at meditation. I'm no good at, how many times have you heard this? I can't meditate.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. That's the famous, that's the best one.
So they feel like they failed at it and they disengage. I tell people, don't worry about that. Find 2 minutes to yourself, 30 seconds to yourself, a minute. It doesn't matter. Start and build, and then start to build that connection and just feel. Put your hands on your heart and just sit there and feel it.
Yeah.
Feel the moment and don't live in the past and the future. And you will be surprised at the connection that starts to create, because your guides go, they're paying attention. Now, to add on that, write down anything that you had in your mind at that time. It doesn't matter if it was doing the laundry, it doesn't matter what it was. Write it down. And at the end of it say, and this is actually, they're just telling me to say this right now. At the end of it say, I spoke to my guide today about blah. And it doesn't have to be anything. The laundry.
Validate
the
it.
laundry.
Right? Okay.
Right? That's interesting. I'm going to have to save that one. And seriously, I'm like, wow, all right. But it is that nod to your guides that says, hey, I'm ready to communicate. Once you start doing that, then you start to gather more information. Now, is that all of a sudden jump out and be a reader? If you have the self-confidence for it, absolutely. But a lot of people take the time to gather that self-confidence.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it takes is is self-confidence in yourself. And once you do that, your guides, they carry you.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
I think that's a great point because, like
Yeah.
you said earlier, for me personally, when I first started tapping into my clairs, I always second questioned myself. I'm like sitting there going, am I just making this stuff up? Like, is this just me and my imagination just going to town and then me trying to sound like a know-it-all? Like, I really like had that self-criticism going on. But like,
Yeah.
the more I validated the little things, the more the little things became bigger things. And then the
Yep.
bigger things became really big things. And it was
Yeah.
just like, wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
self-validation.
And then you're Googling stuff.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had to Google the information you get in a meditation or a reading or
I
whatever? And it's
haven't
like,
experienced that yet
legit?
personally.
Oh yeah. Freak me out.
Would you like to share a time that happened to you?
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mean to put you on the spot.
But I did.
No. It's interesting. It's interesting. Honey, I'm gonna talk about Chaco. Okay. So we're gonna talk about Chaco.
Hit it, kid.
So we were living in wherever we were living because Sam's job takes us all over.
Okay.
And we were in Illinois. Anyways, it doesn't matter. And
No, we were home.
and I had this meditation, and it took me through crop circles and gave me the name of Chaco Canyon, which I'd never heard before in my whole entire life. It gave me all these beautiful red rocks and surroundings and ruins and all this really cool stuff. And I got out of this, and it was extraterrestrial, by the way. So we dip off into the extraterrestrial a lot.
We love that around here.
So I do trance mediumship, and I bring across Oz, who is a collective. Anyways, that's a different.
Oh,
And
we actually do a weekly UAP news show
yeah.
oh really?
UFO news show.
for UAP Society. That's what the hat is.
It's a lot of, it's interesting. So I called Sam at work because I come out of my meditation, I was writing all this stuff down. It freaked me out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I Googled it
Mm-hmm.
and it was real. All of these places were real. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this information. So I messaged Sam at work and told him about it. And we were chatting back and forth going, wow, that's really weird. And this is how your guides give you validation, right? So I'm like, oh, this is really weird. So he comes home from work and
No, I was not at work. You were on the road somewhere, and I was staying in a camper in New Mexico.
okay.
I was in Milan.
Oh, Milan.
Milan, New Mexico.
And so we were sitting, they're watching television, and what comes on television but a program about Chaco Canyon.
Oh
That same
man,
night.
see, there it is, validation, right?
And I was going, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
His mind is blown. We were really blown
Wow.
away by this
Oh yeah, that's right. That part of it, we were sitting in the camper in.
together.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
we were kind of looking at each other like, oh crap.
I don't think
Yeah.
we've experienced that
It
yet.
gets
though, but-
weirder. It gets weirder.
How does it get weirder?
So much weirder.
How?
Okay.
I'll let
So,
him do this.
so Lisa, we had a Great Dane that was sick, and we had just found out he had kidney problems, and so she was taking him home to go see our vet at home. To get
Ohio.
confirmation. She was on her way home back to Ohio from New Mexico, and the X-Files came on, and I'm like, you know what? This looks like a good entertaining evening. All right, so I'm sitting here watching the X-Files, and all of a sudden, they're talking about Chaco Canyon. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? So then it gets even more weird.
It's so weird.
Chaco Canyon is so the exit that I was staying at the campground on is the exit to Chaco Canyon.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, we got placed. I'm telling you, we were placed there.
Mhm, I
And
agree.
We were 20 minutes from Chaco Canyon.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
traveling the back roads to
Yeah.
get to it.
And
we
if
didn't even realize how close we were to it.
Yeah.
But we learned about it in that spot, and then
Yeah.
she was on her way home, and it hit us. And I'm calling her, and I'm going, "Holy shit! You're not going to believe this."
Wow. That's
And
like a
so we were both just-
multi-layered story
Oh,
with
yeah,
there was a
synchronicity
lot to
sprinkled
it.
all in there.
Did you
Yeah.
guys go visit it, or
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
We've been in
I've
multiple
been there? It's
Yeah.
really.
How is
times.
it?
It is.
Oh, have you been there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you
It's
have?
amazing, isn't it?
It's been probably,
Oh, wow.
I don't know, a long time ago, 15 years, 10 or 15 years, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So way before
Yeah.
any of your spiritual awakenings.
Well, I think our human experience is a spiritual awakening. It's just, it could be drawn out or
Okay.
whatever. So I would
Big
say,
drawn out
we
affair.
did it for
Yeah.
the, mystical and, connection to ancient, culture and everything else. And I think we camped there, if I'm not mistaken, if there's campsites there. But
Yeah, there are.
yeah, so we camped there under the cliff there. So
Yep.
that was it was
Nice.
a neat experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We
just
need to go
love that the culture of the tribes, and I can't think who was there. Is it, I want to say Aztec, but I don't even know. I can't think.
It was the Anasazi.
Yeah.
Oh.
We could do a history lesson on this right now because
Yeah.
when I went to,
Great. Yeah.
but it actually they found Egyptian artifacts out there too. So they think it was a central meeting
Really?
place for places from cultures around the world to travel into. Yeah, there's a lot deeperness.
Chaco
That's not a word.
Yeah.
Chaco Canyon.
It is
Well,
now.
it is now. You just made it. So.
The main site at Chaco Canyon is not a dwelling site. It is a meeting center,
That's it.
and that's the
Okay.
big round room.
Roundhouses.
The
Yeah.
roundhouses, the biggest roundhouse there is their big meeting room, and so at least that's the the going theory right now. So,
Sure.
but
Yeah, it's so that, I mean, there was lots of layers to that one 2x4 moment. That one
Okay.
2x4 moment. And we just kind of sat back and went, well, I guess they're trying to tell us stuff. And the other thing that we've been told together, I think, is that everything we do has to be together. There is no Sam does one thing and Lisa does another. It is, we were actually told that we rise together. So that's why
Aw, that was
That's
so cute.
great.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say earlier that Sam, he's giving you all the credit, but he's also been very supportive, it seems. So
yeah.
you know,
And he
he's like a-
minimalizes what he does.
Aw.
Aw.
Yeah.
so
He's embarrassed.
New Mexico wasn't the first time that we've had this sort of experience.
Okay.
So we had just left Hawaii for the job I was working over there.
Okay.
And that is where Mrs. Fry got, we'll call her supercharged with the Lumerians.
Ah.
And
Okay.
Color me intrigued.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story.
Hey, we're for it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so we definitely believe that there is a consciousness, paranormal aspect to ufology, right? To UFOs
Absolutely.
and extraterrestrials, or other beings. We definitely think that it is connected intrinsically. I didn't say that right.
Intrinsically.
Intrinsically. There we go. Sorry. But yes, yeah. So Lemuria.
Yeah.
Is this where your
gosh.
trance mediumship or transability came from?
I started working more with I was getting lots of downloads
Okay.
in Hawaii, and like immense downloads, to the point where I went to have my aura photography done, which I've done for every year since I started this. And they stopped using the camera because they thought it was broken. And don't have it here, I don't think, but there's interdimensional lines in my aura photo.
Wow.
Like very,
Okay.
very clear lines going in both directions and stars falling. It's really cool.
Sure.
And yeah, a
Okay.
grid
Wow.
inside my aura. It's really cool.
Wow.
So they thought that the camera was broken, and they had like 4 psychics over there trying to figure out what was going on. And here's me, I'm like, I don't know. But I worked a lot with Archangel Metatron here and Saint Germain, and I really stepped off into the Akasha calls here. And what I found in the Akasha calls just kind of blew my mind. Because also working as a shaman, they have interwoven all of my shamanism and soul retrieval into working on past lives. So I do a lot of soul retrieval for past life.
Okay.
But while I was working on that, I started to get deeper information about the goddess Athena and the goddess Artemis. And I'm not a Greek, philosopher or anything like that, but these goddesses kept reoccurring in my meditations as helpers to me.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden they shifted gears from being goddesses to here, let's go here. We're going to follow this portal. And I found myself in the Galactic Federation, like immediately, like
Wow.
that one day. And I was like, whoa, slow your roll here. I'm a little freaked out now. But they had me just stand off to the back as a bystander for the first couple times I was up there. And I say up there, and they're like, it's not up there. You know, it's not up there. It's here. And it was so intriguing to me that so many species were cooperating, and they were all
Okay.
just having casual conversation. It was so cool. And then it just kind of shifted. And the more I worked with these energies, the more I became to realize that what we consider these Greek and Roman and whatever pantheon it is, they're extraterrestrial. That's what they are.
Oh, snap.
And
Okay. Okay.
And so now when I go to meditate, I have a place I meditate to. I usually go right there.
Yep.
And I have my Akasha calls from my human existences. And then I have another Akasha call off to the side that is strictly extraterrestrial.
Oh.
And
Okay.
it is really amazing. So, but yeah, that was brought to my attention as it was easier for humans to digest. And so that Lemurian connection is how we've weave our way through humanity, and that it was not just a planting of people. Lemuria wasn't just a planting. It was a accumulation of a couple different races coming together and losing connection with their stellar family, and then growing from there. And that is where we get some of our Anasazi, our Aztecs, our Mayans, a lot of our ancient Egyptians, a lot of these civilizations, and Atlanteans. They just took a left turn. Atlanteans kind of took a left turn and went a little bit more warlike. But it's really interesting. The things that are planted right there in front of our, in our meditations. And that's when you start going, oh, I am crazy.
Yeah.
But I think the trance mediumship takes it to a whole new level for me, where I can sit back and I can listen to what's going on and feel the truth in what they're saying. And that really does shift gears for me a lot.
Wow.
We have one planned for the beginning of next month, though.
Oh.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with the whole idea of the Galactic Federation and everything, because like he said earlier, we love aliens. We do a UFO news show every week, and we're constantly talking about disclosure. And for different people, disclosure means different things, right? Like some people think disclosure is the president getting on TV and saying, okay, guys, aliens are real. For other people, disclosure is having a, connection to where they communicate through trance or through channeling. That's their disclosure. And for other people, it's just seeing a video of a UFO or something. So looking at the climate with the United States and everything, where do you see us going in terms of disclosure? And do you see us having any sort of open contact?
Oh, good question.
You want to take this one, honey? Or am I still?
Well, I would not hold my breath that the government will ever unveil anything directly.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. I think they.
And if anything, I'll just tell you right now, I wish I had my tinfoil hat, because I am down the conspiracy rabbit holes on a lot of things.
So are we.
So I'm probably not saying anything that you don't think either, but if there is an event where we are introduced, I don't trust that our government has got something that does not have something to do with it. And when it does happen, there's going to be a lot of people that are right there ready to go, trying to get on board and take off with them. And then there's going to be the rest of society that's just absolutely going to lose their shit.
Right.
Their entire belief system is going to just absolutely collapse.
Yeah, their whole
psychological shock is going to hit them hard.
Absolutely. And the knowledge that has been suppressed for centuries, and I would even say millennia, that is going to come out and be tossed out into the people, because the government will have no control over it at that point. It's going to be so overwhelming to the majority of the population. that it's going to be a really scary time for this planet. Now, as far as my beliefs is where human beings have come from, we'll maybe that's a different conversation. I don't want to send that conversation down another rabbit hole. So,
Okay.
Oh,
but
it's fine.
that is my personal, at a 10,000-foot level, that is my belief right now, is what
Mhm.
government is not going to help us figure any of this out.
Okay.
So
they
I'm
may
just going to
figure
say,
things out, but that's it.
so I'm gonna add messages that I just kind of pick up along the way. Okay.
Oh, thank you
Okay.
for writing them down.
Fear factor. The fear factor is so wonderful. It's gosh, I'm not a tinfoil person. The fear factor is a wonderful control mechanism,
Sure.
Yeah.
and there's no benefit to peace. So
Right.
I see what you mean by that.
on a humanity level,
Yep.
benefit to peace, and then I put humanity would just boil over. I mean, if aliens walked amongst us all of a sudden in their truest of forms, then it would scare so many people, and it would break down humanity in such a quick way that I don't think they would come out and uncover themselves or allow themselves to be uncovered in such a manner. So it has to be
Yeah.
very, very gradual, and it has to be done peaceful, which is not going to happen within our climate.
Okay.
Okay.
It's almost impossible for them to say, look, quiet and peaceful aliens, because somebody's not gonna take that way.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
somebody's not gonna take it
You're
that
going to
way.
shoot first and ask questions later.
Literally.
Right.
Yeah.
And
My thoughts
not
are I'm just thinking, I do feel like, it's been a slow leak disclosure. I think we've all heard that term, but and I do feel like the the government in some way is taking part in that slowly. Um, I, for one, before I ever became spiritual and on my spiritual awakening, I guess you could say I was what you might call a conspiracy theorist, and I didn't even like that because a 3-letter agency made that term conspiracy theorist up. So anyway,
Government is great.
Right.
They're our friends.
You can
But,
trust them.
Yeah.
I don't watch the news, I guess, but there's been
Yeah, us
little
either.
bits from what I can see have been put out there, and I feel like the average citizen has an awareness at this point. You know what I mean? So I do see, but yeah, like
So
if
the
some
taboo
sort
has
of-
been
they just
taken
make
off a
much
little
stuff
bit.
up, it wouldn't be good, but I don't see that happening either. I feel like
Yeah.
they know what they're doing, and they know that, just like Sam was saying, that it would be a good thing, and I feel like I don't know, my thoughts just went from I think the majority of aliens or beings out there are of a positive nature,
Mhm.
but I guess there are the ones that aren't, and I do feel like there's possible involvement there. Maybe I'm going deep. I should probably stop.
No, you're good.
It's cool.
no, but you're right.
Yeah.
There's good in everything, and then
Mhm.
there's bad in everything, and you just can't. But it's what are people going to look towards?
What are your thoughts on like it being Earth School and the duality, and like, do we all come from one, and given all these different beings we're speaking of, from archangels to aliens, like, and do you think it all comes from the one
Divine
source,
light,
and
divine
we're all-
source.
yeah.
So I'm going to speak this one. I really feel like we have higher beings. Okay. I believe that we have our guides. I believe we have beings that had grown. Okay. This is interesting. They're talking tonight, that have grown beyond having to do Earth school because Earth wasn't existing yet. So I feel like, though, I know here's my brain going, wow, that's deep. So Earth hadn't even come into existence when these people were already old. These individuals, these souls were already old, right? So those are our guides. Those and the angels. I feel like if you are any like the watchtowers and things like that, I think they predate Earth as well. So we have these beings that are here to help lead us and guide us. I do believe that when we are life between lives and we're on the other side and we're trying to figure things out, I believe this is a hard school that we pick to do accelerated learning. So this is like the college course.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way
Yeah.
of putting it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
it's
good
a hard,
answer.
hard college course, right? You got to do the
Right,
paperwork, or
right.
you're going to do it over again. But I do find a lot of comfort in knowing that we have so many options. This isn't just you're going to come in and you're going to do exactly what we tell you to kind of thing. This is we chose everything. We have the fluidity and in the grace to be able to say, this is what I want to learn. And we have enough people in our soul family that love us. And this is something we tell our students, and they kind of go, I would, whatever. But it doesn't matter who they are in your life, whether they love you, hate you, whatever. They were the worst experience you ever had come across your life. They still love you.
Yeah.
Love you.
Mhm.
You know? So when you think about the grace that we have people that love us enough to be a pain in our butt.
The
And we can go back,
antagonizers, right?
yeah, and we can go back to the other side and say, thank you, we love you, that we have so much more love in this universe than we do hatred.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
It's important, isn't it,
No,
though?
it really, really is. Yeah.
Because
It's
we all
easy to
have like
fall
that
prey
one
to the
family
doom and
member.
gloom and fear, but it's really
Yeah.
important to note that we all come from love. It's what we're made of, and it's what we
Mhm.
go back to. So you may as well embrace it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And that might be part of the whole experience, is for us to finally understand that after so many lifetimes.
Yeah. And maybe that's why Dolores Cannon said that this experience, this incarnation, is a lot of people's lasts, because a lot of people are due to get it this time around.
yeah, absolutely. I just think it's beautiful.
Same.
And not that we don't all have our trials and tribulations, but where do we learn? Within the storm. So there we are.
I posted something today. It was focus on the pain and you continue to suffer. Focus on the lesson, you continue to grow.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
like that one.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Focus
And
on
then
the knowledge or focus on the pain. What's it going to be?
And then you're
Right,
creating
right.
more of that. Whatever you're focusing on, you're creating
Manifesting
more.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you get stuck in a vicious loop.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I want to go back to the question, the part of the question about the different species, the different.
Sure.
I was worded in a manner that was like alien, being here. So this planet is just. I mean, there's billions and maybe trillions of planets out there
Sure. Yeah.
in the
Absolutely.
universe, and to think we're the only planet that has life, that is such a bunch of horse crap. But anyways,
Right.
Ego.
there are people, and you may know these, we do too. There are people that are just absolutely not comfortable in this life, in their meat suit. They're absolutely not comfortable. They do not fit in. They don't feel like they belong anywhere. And a lot of times what happens is these people, or these entities, these energies, have come from other planets. And so now they're over here learning an entirely new type of life.
Mhm.
And so not only are they here to learn lessons, for whatever reason they chose this place, they have to learn how to exist here.
They have to learn how to earth.
Exactly. Now, these may be extremely old souls from wherever they came from. Okay. Life between lives. Our main energy on the other side, we can split off little pieces and go do these other lifetimes. And we can do multiple lives at a time. So we can have 3, 4, 5 of ourselves, our energy selves, in the same time zone, or in the not time zone, but the same spatial time. Or we can have them scattered out through history or in the future. All these things are feeding back to the I call it the nucleus of our soul. And this is my belief. This isn't necessarily science, but this is my belief. And there is some science out there that are looking at this. And so kind of like some of the theories I've kind of added on to from what has been laid into my screwy little brain. So, but again, so when you say, can aliens? Yes, they absolutely can. They're in this type of a meat suit, but they are absolutely not from, they have not spent any time in this plane of existence. So, sometimes that's because their planets have ceased to exist, or And who knows, when we're done here, maybe we're going to go somewhere else and have to learn a whole new set of lessons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
You know? So
We're
But-
all aliens.
We are.
We are all
Most
aliens.
people on the planet right now are.
this is the rabbit hole I didn't want to go down earlier.
Oh, that's okay.
But what I would add to Sam real shortly is that he's, you know, he's talking like we could go out into several different lifetimes at one time right now, but everything's happening right now.
Oh, now I was
Yeah.
saying the same thing. I didn't want to interrupt, but yeah, it's like all the
It's all
lifetimes
right now.
are now. Yeah.
But
Even though
our
it's
perception
not-
is, yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
it's
I had the same thought on that. Okay. So as a trans medium, you connect with higher beings and loved ones who have passed on. What has been one of your most memorable experiences during a session or
okay.
something that
So I absolutely love doing trance mediumship. If you've never encountered it yourself, it's interesting to watch. I usually connect with a gentleman, I call him gentleman, a guy named Oz. He represents a collective of energies. Now, what I do love about Oz is snarky and he thinks Sam is funny. So he's really kind of a smart ass to Sam. And I can feel his attitude. Like I can feel his like up puny human kind of thing, right?
Okay.
But my favorite is totally unexpected,
Sam, you're muted. Sorry.
which is probably good. No,
No, you're right. It was good. It was good. It was muted.
was my final, the last one I did. And now I haven't done trance mediumship since my father passed away. I was taking care of him, and it kind of knocked me out of my loop. And but I was sitting there and I expected Oz to come across. I kind of did. I kind of felt like something was different, but so instead of Oz coming across, I had this energy come across and I could feel that there was an energy difference. Now, because what happens with trance mediumship is you kind of set yourself back in a back room and listen as this other energy just takes over. Its mannerisms come across, its speech comes across, its inflections, everything. And I'm sitting back there going, who is this? And it was a woman. And she just had this very clinical feeling to her. And she was just very straightforward in her answers, very monotone. And her answers were clear and concise. And she just told it exact. She didn't care if it hurt anybody's feelings. She just told the way it was.
Okay.
And I'm sitting in the back room going, who is this? Who is this lady? And I wasn't worried about it at all. But so we do this with some of our members. So we have a tier of membership that gets this when we do this. And so they get to come in and ask questions of this individual. And so finally she was very in and out. She didn't stick around very long. She was there, maybe there for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And when she was done, that's it. She was done. She took no more questions. She just went, I'm done. And that was it. I woke up and I'm like, well, that was kind of rude. But whatever. So it just so happens that one of our members is like this really knowledgeable person about ancient Greece. And she goes, I know who that was. I mean, she was like right away, I know who that was. And I'm
Who
like,
was it?
who was it? Right? Because I work with Athena and Artemis. And I was like, I didn't know who it was. It was, okay. So I have past lives as, this sounds so egotistical, as an Oracle of Delphi. Okay. And so I've known that for a long time. And it was Selene, the goddess of the moon, the Titan of the moon, one of the mothers of the gods.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I sat back, and as soon as she said it, it went poof, and I went, oh my goodness. So yeah, a Titan. A Titan.
Wow.
So in my brain, because I'm very left brain and I'm very analytical, which is why I have a hard time, I used to have a hard time meditating. I was going, so what does this make them? Like an admiral on some kind of ship or something?
What? Yeah, right.
Right. Because in my brain, the gods and goddesses are extraterrestrial. So what is this person? Like their parent?
No, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But talk about a very strong, profound, calm energy. That was just kind of knocked me for a loop, because I was like, wow, that is.
So that's one that sticks out to you, of course.
That's the one that sticks out to me. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Was there a message attached to that? Or
that was 2 years ago. I don't remember what I said 15 minutes ago. So
yeah, I'm the same way.
true story. There's a recording of it someplace is all I know. All of them are recorded and in the membership. But,
what is the difference between channeling and what you just described, or is it the same thing, just with two different titles?
Okay, so channeling is I'm right here. Like I'm here. Hi, this is me.
Okay.
And I can get the messages and they just kind of flow. And you'll get some inflection, but I'm still absolutely right here.
Okay.
Trance mediumship is mediumship where I've stepped to the back room and I allow that. Think of Ghost.
As somebody else comes through you, in other words.
Yeah,
right?
when Patrick Swayze took over Goldie.
Okay.
Whoopi Goldberg. Where he just took over and it was his mannerisms and all those things. That would be trance mediumship.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess we've understood channeling to be what you call trance mediumship. And we've actually had 3 or 4 different channelers on the show. The last was Tom and AJ. I don't know if you've heard of them or not. They're called Speaking from Source. Okay, but so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like everything else when it comes to intuitive, right? We all have different ways of doing things, different things we call things.
Sure, yeah.
But I know that if I'm doing a reading and I start to channel, there's a big difference. You can tell a difference when I'm doing it because I start talking super fast, like just super fast.
Yeah.
And I can feel that, but I still am totally awake and conscious.
Okay.
When I am giving myself over, that is when I know that I don't stand up, I don't talk, I don't move around very much. My eyes are closed. I'm just sitting there and I'm talking.
Thank you for making that distinction clear to me because I wasn't sure of it before.
Yeah, there's a lot of little intricacies. Like, everybody thinks that mediumship is the same thing as psychic information. Totally different.
Right, right.
Oh, yeah. And something that you said earlier resonated with me to where, like, if you tell somebody, like, I'm recalling a conversation, like, with my dad where I was like, I feel like I'm getting information and I feel like I might have some psychicness to me. And he's like, well, tell me what I'm thinking now. What's the winning lotto number? I'm like, no, Dad, it doesn't work like that, Dad. Like, that's not what I was trying to explain to you. Like, he didn't get it.
If it did, we wouldn't be here talking.
I know.
Right.
Like when you mentioned the word psychic, people automatically think, like you said earlier, Lisa, that like, every little thing that's going on in their brain, and it doesn't work like that. It's like, you just get little hints, little clues. And it's like, if you learn to pick up on those clues, then you start getting more of them, or recognizing more of them, I should say. So I really enjoy your message that, all of us are intuitive. All of us have psychic abilities. You just have to literally work it like a muscle, practice, validate yourself so that you have the courage to keep going forward and know it's not your imagination. Like it's legit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
What advice would you have for somebody that's like maybe just starting out on their spiritual journey and like all of this stuff is new to them?
That's a good question. Yeah.
You want to take that one, Fry?
So, some of the first things everybody, I'm going to go try to meditate. I want to see spirit guides or animal totems or, some along those lines. And even if they successfully get into a meditation, we, in our younger energies, we expect to see somebody or something, and we're going to know who they are. They're going to tell us their name, and they're going to do all these things. And that's not how the other side works. We will recognize energies. Okay. It's going to be like our thumbprint. Okay. Our thumbprint is our thumbprint.
Yeah.
Their energy and our energy, that it's 2 different fingerprints. And so we'll eventually, with practice, learn to identify, because some people get multiple guides that come in, and that's amazing. But they can't necessarily differentiate. And sometimes the guides are pretty snarky. I'm not giving you a name. You don't need a name. And you don't need a name. Names are something that we created to quantify something or someone. And you just know after a while, hey, there's
Yep.
There's energy number 12, you know.
Yeah.
Right, right.
It's
Again,
not
quantum
Hollywood.
things.
Yeah.
But your soul energies, they connect. And that's, you know, eventually, once you've gotten better and more practice at it, you pick that up. Now, it doesn't mean you're also going to communicate with them right out of the gate either. We have a language. They have a language. Our languages are not the same. So we have to bridge the gap. We have to create a library, a dictionary, a language between them and us that we understand together. So the first thing I recommend to people is find something simple that you want to see. So you're going to tell your guide, or you're going to tell the archangel or whatever, hey, I want to see something that's obscure that only, and then you can't say it out loud so that everybody around you can hear it, because then if it happens, you're going to think this is where our brains work. Okay, so you're going to create a language between your guide and yourself, or your guides. Okay, and that dictionary that you create, and it's not going to happen overnight, something that you have to build with them. And so the first thing I always tell people, something simple, something easy. A billboard. It can be as simple as literally a sign. I want to see a dove on the sign. No, it doesn't mean it has to be a real dove or a picture of a dove, but it, you know, just there's a dove on the sign. Hey, how you doing? Confirmation. That's what you're looking for. Those are the kind of things. What you're doing is you are establishing an open line of communication with the other side. Once they see that you recognize the sign that they provided for you, that you asked for, they're going to start giving you things a lot faster. And it's when you ask for something, it's going to be much faster. It's going to be a lot faster because now you've tuned yourself into the energy of that other guide. All right. So once you do that, the rest of the guides are going to say, this is the language we're trying to learn with one another. Okay. So when you're first starting out, people get so frustrated because they can't see the guide, or they can't talk to the guide directly, or the guide won't give them a name. Or, you know, if they're in a meditation, Lisa, I know we've heard this 100 times. I didn't see anything in the meditation. I don't know what's going on.
That's my favorite.
I didn't see anything. Okay, well, Lisa will start questioning them. Well, what did you do? Well, you know, there was this and the flowers and then the wheat.
Butterflies and eagles.
Butterflies,
and I'm like,
yeah. So what do you mean you didn't see anything? It was all right there.
Yeah.
don't get discouraged, I think, is the big thing. Don't get discouraged when they don't give you a name, or don't get discouraged because you don't feel like you're being successful, because most of the time people are judging their success on what other people consider successful.
Exactly.
So you just have to do it yourself and figure it out, because it is a puzzle piece. Every single piece of information you get is a puzzle piece, and you need to keep a book.
The journal. I was thinking that.
Yep.
You need to write it down, because once you start, I mean, like, I have a Disney guide. All he does is deal in Disney characters. I have another guy that just does movie theater jokes. Okay. I have another, yeah, he's funny. And then I have another one that they only come in. I mean, this is how obscure information is. They only come in. It took me forever to figure this out. When somebody needs to move forward in their life and just get over the fear, because it is the little clip of the claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when they're one foot in front of the other and they're walking out the cave. Yeah, I hear that and I'm like, oh, you really start moving forward and quit worrying about this. And then they, you know, so the information that your guides are going to use are always particular to you. You're going to use stuff that you already know to move forward. That's it. Don't get
baby steps.
I've experienced that.
That's amazing advice. Thank you guys so much. You guys seem to be amazing teachers, and you referenced that you have a community full of teachers. So can you tell us a little bit more about My Mystical Life, and where, you know, drop your links, tell people where they can find you. If our audience would like to get a reading from you or an energy healing from you, can you tell us where they can find you and what you guys offer?
So our main page is My Mystical Life. We have that, and we also sell, we have a crystal store, the Mystical Moons, but they're both much on the same page. So you can go to My Mystical Life and find everything that we do. But the teacher community, it really is, we have 15 different people that volunteer each month so far to come on, and they do, matter of fact, somebody's doing one right now, that they come on and they talk about what they know. We have human design, we have astrology, We have herbs, we have crystals, we have all of these different teachers that we're all trying to rise together. You know, they
Okay.
have
All
services
ships
they
rise
do.
with the tide.
Absolutely.
Full hub.
And it just kind of morphed into this. It is not how it started. We started with a small little community, and we gave a crystal away each month, and I taught 4 classes a month, and that's all it was.
Uh-huh.
And it's turned into this really incredible family of people that we gather every year. We try to gather someplace every year. We've done Savannah a couple years.
Oh, wow.
We did,
Okay.
yeah, we did Defiance last year, which is our town, because we had a big witch walk in our area. This year we're on a cruise. So
I
this,
told you about that yesterday. I
yeah.
was telling you
Yeah.
about that yesterday.
I am very blessed to be, and one of many speakers on the cruise, but I'm blessed to be the featured speaker on the cruise.
Congratulations.
December. Yeah, isn't that like, it's so cool?
That is very cool.
Yeah, I was telling her that we should go on a cruise.
And I was like,
And
we should
so-
go on their cruise.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because
The understanding and learning about manifestation has paid off for you guys.
you
working
have no idea. Yeah. When I like I said, I have no problem putting myself under the bus. When this happened in life, I personally had gone through a huge life change. I know Sam did too. We moved out of Virginia. We moved to Ohio. I used to run and I say I did. It was ours, but him and we had a day spa, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
I ran that, and he took this other job, and we moved up here. So we sold everything, and I was lost. I had nothing to really hinge my day on.
Right.
And this really changed and pulled me out of a little bit more than a little bit of a depression into spirituality, you know?
Your
Yeah.
spirit guides were like, we know what she needs in this absence of other stuff.
Let me tell you what,
In the first place.
yeah, I kicked and screamed the whole way.
She was all over the map on things
It
too.
was horrible.
Hey, but that's how
Horrible.
you learn, right? You got to dabble in this and dabble
Absolutely.
in that to figure out what
Yep.
you like, what you
Mhm.
don't like, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, you know?
Yeah.
Do the shadow work in between.
Uh-huh. And so it's interesting to see what, as we have our students message me and talk and all these things, because we're not just like a bunch of people that don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
They have a little network of people. And we're just facilitators at this point that come on and smile and talk to them, and they're like a network of people that just help each other.
That's
And
great.
Yeah.
we don't
That's we're
have
hearing a lot of that in our interviews is how important that is.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so important.
Yeah.
We think it's important to have support to help
Yes.
validate that you're not, because I know that my favorite line when I started this was, I know it sounds crazy, but
Yeah. Right.
how many years did I say that, Sam? I mean, a long time. And
That and she's so thankful that her husband didn't put her in the funny farm.
yeah,
Oh.
that's it. But, you know,
And they had to put me there too because that was
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree, Leslie.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Leslie, what?
I said it's amazing that the two of you, remained together and grew together spiritually.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, did you have some difficult times with all that, or did it naturally happen that way? Or
No.
a lot
I
of people struggle with that, with one
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
We-
and the
we-
other not,
when we started into this realm of life, we had already been married about 20 years. So I mean, we were past a lot of that petty child
You know.
bullshit that we all go through as young kids,
Sure.
as young couples, I should say.
Yeah. 'Cause we
So
didn't start this till about 38 years old.
Oh, wow.
So-
Right.
Okay.
We'd already been married for 18 years at that point.
Wow.
Yeah. We have
Well,
stick to this.
Well, we're glad that we ran into you guys at the Tampa Expo. That's where we met Sam and Lisa. We met at the
Mhm.
Spiritual Expo out in the Tampa Fairgrounds. And I resonated with your speech, and Justin really
I really
resonated.
resonated with the drumming that you did and the
Yeah.
meditation that you guided us through. That was amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was really happy that we did that.
So was that the shamanic? Because that was last minute. Was that the second one or the
It
first?
was the
The
second one.
shamanic one,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because I
because-
finished the first one. She's like, "Can you do another one?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Sure."
Yeah, that was
On
cool.
what?
Right.
So that was but that's basically how I work is I don't pre-plan. So
Yeah.
it worked fine for me. I mean, I'm just like, go with the flow, let's do it. But
we have a phrase in there. We squirrel very quickly.
yes.
Hey, we're going to go over here.
I gotcha.
Yeah, right.
One
Was
of
that
my
the
mottos.
designated keeper of the squirrel in that one?
Yeah.
Because when I get up and I do talks, I ask for volunteers at the beginning, and people just raise their hand. They have no idea what I'm asking for a volunteer for, and they're just like, "I'll do it." I'm like,
Oh, I was so nervous. I was like sitting here like doing this.
but it's really, I designate somebody to keep me on track because I go off track and then I'm gone. Talking about,
I
Both
can
of us.
understand that.
Hey, it's okay. Whatever's supposed to happen will happen.
but I think I think that it's really important, especially when doing things like that. It's important to lead by example.
Hmm.
I am not going to get up there and act like I sit and meditate like this, and that I keep all my shit in one straight line, because I don't.
Right.
And to a lot
Two
of
ducks are not
people,
rowed up.
to a lot of people, that would seem ungrounded, right? A lot of people, you're not very grounded, and I've heard that. But here's what I do have: I have a hell of a lot of joy, and I enjoy everything I do, and I know Sam does too.
That's
And
great.
we laugh and we have a great time, and I'm grounded. I'm
I
grounded.
love that for you guys. I
That's
love
so
that for you guys.
amazing to
That's
hear
so
that.
cute.
Yeah.
So we laugh a lot, and I try to bring that into any kind of talks that we have, and everything we do. It's important.
Well, we're really glad we ran into you that day. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being there that day. Thank you for being here today. And would you like to close out with your most famous question?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, what is your guys' greatest hope for the future of humanity?
I'll let you do your answer first, and then
Okay. That's a doozy. But I ask it of everybody. So
Yeah, and you can take a moment if you need.
yeah, and the
Yep.
first person that I ever asked this question to was Linda Moulton Howe. So
So, did y'all get that bus number off that bus that just run
this
me
just
over?
went over us.
yeah.
No.
No, I'm talking about you, Fry.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have my answer. If you have, do you want me to take this? What?
Go ahead, kid, because
Okay.
I've got to think on that one for a minute.
Okay.
I feel
It's
like
a toughie, actually.
it's a tough one. I feel like oh, I understand. Thank you. Okay. I feel like people don't. If I was to ask you to define yourself, like, who are you, and not use adjectives,
Mm.
others, aha,
Mm.
right? If I asked you to define yourself and not use mother, sister, daughter, whatever your job title is, all of those things that we are commonly using to say who we are, I would hope that people would know and get in touch with that. I would hope that people could live right here in the right now, because in spirituality, we hear a lot of, I'm grounded, I'm protected, but they forget the middle, which is right here in the center. And I hope that humanity could find that center, because we would be living in a much more peaceful world if we could just live in the now and live in the emotion of the moment instead
Yeah.
of, and stay out of other people's garbage.
Mm.
Right.
And that includes all those adjectives. You know? But I think that I really do. I think that that is a question that my guides have been bringing to the forefront of, how do you define yourself? And who do you want to be? And wish that for everybody, and see what
Beautiful.
would go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, sounded scripted, didn't it?
Very good answer.
Almost.
Very good answer.
Yeah.
Do you
That's
have
one
one?
of the
Zach?
that's one of the best answers we've had so far, to be honest.
Woo!
Good.
Yeah.
Wow, honey, you even got me thinking about that one. That just blew me away.
Aw.
Yeah, I mean, I've never sat back and thought about it like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually have nothing. I mean, she just totally flabbergasted me.
So basically,
Got-
your answer is what she said.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Ditto. Right.
Okay,
Wow.
well, that's
I
cool.
was
It's a
just
great
saying
answer.
it was me, that'd be a lie. That's total, just whatever comes through kind of thing. So
Sure. Yeah.
there we go.
But the joy, I think, is super important too for everybody to, being in the now and experiencing the joy of the now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
it's just a miracle that we're all here having
Yeah, we definitely picked a crazy time to all be incarnated together, right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
For like
that is an absolute
plague.
truth.
Yeah.
It is.
Or
Absolute truth.
And we are all part of disclosure, so
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because this world is in the midst of a big change.
Yes.
Definitely.
Whether the people want to come with it or not, it's happened.
Right.
And there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it now.
No.
So
No.
there's
Agreed.
too many of us out there now preaching the word, if you will, but not in the religious
Preaching,
manner. But
teaching, not preaching. That's it.
Yes.
yeah,
Teach-
teaching, not
teaching,
preaching.
not
Teaching.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Teaching,
I've
not
heard that
preaching.
before.
There we go.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
And there's still a lot of hard-headed people out there who don't want to. They got their head in the sand. And that's unfortunately when the change happens, they're the people that are going to lose their shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And I hope for humanity's sake that they don't just completely go unhinged and
That's their cycle, though.
huh?
That's their cycle. That's where they're at on their
Yeah.
learning process.
Okay, but what I'm saying is turning into some sort of massive war.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because there is that absolute possibility that could happen.
we don't want to help manifest that, though. Do we?
No, we're not going to
No.
talk.
No.
No.
Good
But-
point, Leslie.
But there are people out there that are. And
Yeah.
there are,
Yeah.
there's entire organizations out there that are trying to manifest that.
Oh,
Yeah. So we have interesting conversations at our. Actually, we don't, because I don't do any of the conspiracy theories because it take it too close to here.
uh-huh.
Sure.
So, but we could have really interesting conversations in our house.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we
I'm
have
really
interesting
enjoying this
conversations for
conversation
sure.
with you guys.
Sorry, Leslie.
I said I really enjoyed this conversation with you guys.
I have too.
Oh yeah, yeah, us
Absolutely.
too. This is
I feel
a
like
lot
the
of
time
fun.
flew by. Like
It has, yeah.
like flew by.
Yeah, we've hit a couple sessions.
Yeah.
yeah.
Was
Yeah.
there anything else you guys wanted to share, from your hearts, or just something that you would like to mention before we end our chat?
Self-confidence is a big deal. Believing in yourself is huge. When you step forward with the intention of great things happen. And you never know when you are going to create a spark that brings
Mhm.
incredible people together to have incredible dialogue and create a family that never would have existed without a spark.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid to do stuff like that.
I got chilled.
No, look, here's me. I'm so channeling right now.
That's
Yeah.
great.
But I mean, these are the real things that have happened for us. And Leslie said, you guys look like you've manifested and fought. I personally fought manifesting for many years. I fought it.
Okay.
And when we finally jumped on a
Woo-woo.
manifesting,
Again, it was a woo-woo in our brain.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah. But I think everybody's capable of so many incredible, great things. They just need someone to help boost them up
Program.
sometimes.
I should say.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
well, we never know, like you said, Lisa. You never know when you're going to be somebody's spark. Their aha moment, the very moment the switch clicks for them.
Yep.
Say, oh, well, there's a perspective of life I've never thought about.
Mhm.
Let me go look into this. And I know of several people that I am blessed to have come in contact with that are now on a different path than where they were. And they're so much better off because they didn't just tell me I was some lunatic nut job, tinfoil hat wearing goober, and I'm cleaning this up a lot because I've been called a lot of names and not very nice things, but
No, yeah. We've been blessed to watch people rise.
it is.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing. I mean, you sit back and go,
For the 500 negative people that come at you, one person that gets something from it is worth every bit of pain and agony that you've
Yes.
gone through with the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
really, really
never-
resonates
like,
with me.
Yes, like I said, or somebody else said, don't be afraid to be somebody else's spark or whatever. We don't know what people are going through in their
It's
lives.
true.
yeah.
And
True.
they may be just on the cusp of discovering it anyways, but
They just need someone to push them over the edge and be like, hey,
They just need that
You're beautiful.
catalyst, right? They just need that
Yeah.
catalyst. And I
Yes.
feel like,
Yeah.
honestly, all of us on this call right now are catalysts. And this conversation is going to be an even bigger catalyst for our audience. We're all about creating those ripples.
Right.
We just
right.
want to like bring conversations to the forefront, give
Mhm.
people new perspectives, give them the comfort to have these kind of conversations. And yeah, so I'm really proud of all of us. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with us. Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Yes. Thank you
For
so
our
much.
audience, we will have all of their links in the video description box below. So while you're sticking around, please do us a favor and smash that like button, click subscribe, ring our little notification bell, drop a lovely comment down below, and share this video with your family and friends to help us spread the good word. Much
All right,
love, peace, and
and
namaste.